miles. Woo! Oh, sorry. Are you guys here for math? Okay, let's get in 5 miles quick on the bike. Let's go ahead and go over here. Let's get on some math stuff. Awesome. Okay. All right. So today we are going to be working on 8-6, which for the math packet is page 333 and 334. We're talking about median. Now, a median is something in the middle. So if I was talking about in the middle of a road, you're in the median. You don't want to drive up on the median. Median just kind of means middle. If you use that with math, and we're talking about data sets, we're going to be talking about middle of the road. So we're talking about the middle number. Here's a few things that you have to remember when we're talking about median as far as data sets go. If you don't have your numbers in order from least to greatest, then the median's not going to matter. If they're just all sprawled out and in whatever order you want, like these, then you cross out. The middle number you find isn't actually going to be the real median. That's going to be the middle of the data set in random order, and that's not the official median. So here we go. Problem number 1 says the numbers at the right are ordered from least to greatest, and they already are least to greatest because they're trying to help you out, which is what they need to be, smallest to biggest. We need to find the median, which literally means middle number. So here's the easiest way to do it. I'm going to cross off the smallest number and the biggest number. Now that those are gone, I only have 3 left. I'm going to cross off the second smallest and the second largest, and I'm left with my median number. So my median number for the very first problem is 22. This worked out really nice because over here there is an even or an odd amount of numbers. There's an odd amount of numbers, which means there's going to be exactly one middle number. But if there wasn't a middle number because it had an even data set, you would have to do a little bit of math to figure out exactly what the number is. We will focus on that with number 3. But for now, let's move on to number 2. Number 2 has a data set. However, the data set is in a graph already. Now, this dot plot graph has the data set already in order from smallest to greatest. It goes like this: 45, 46, 47, 47, 47, 48, 49, 49, 50, 50. If I were to write that in another way, it might look like this: 45, 46, 47, 47, 47, 48, 49, 49, 50, 50. Notice that some numbers are repeated. That's because they have a frequency of 3 or 2 here. It's okay to repeat numbers. That happens when you're collecting data. Now, same thing. To find median, cross out your smallest, then cross out your biggest. So here we go. Smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest, smallest, and biggest. Now this one did have an even amount of data, so there is a spot right here that needs to be the median. Now that median happens to be between numbers 47 and 48. So what's the middle number between 47 and 48? Well, in 6th grade, we can get into decimals. What's halfway between 47 and 48? Very simple, 47 and a half. So the median would be 47.5. Now, I find it easiest to write your numbers out. However, there is another way to do this with the dot plot. Let me show you that. You could cross off the smallest, then cross off a biggest, then cross off the smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest. And your median is going to be where that line is. Once again, directly in between 47 and 48, which is 47.5. So that's how you would find it if there was an even amount of data sets. Odd amount of data sets is totally easy, just whatever number you come to last. But in an even one, you might have to do a little bit of math. For me, it's very simple because I know that half of a number is halfway between two numbers. So between 48 and 47, 47 and a half. Let's explore this one more time with 32, or with number 3. So number 3 gives us a data set. However, if you see, this data set was pulled from a chart. This chart is taking data of animal speeds, and from top to bottom, it was not in smallest to greatest. So I wrote them down exactly as they were from top to bottom of that data collection chart. However, that's not in order. And if they're not in order from least to greatest, then what I'm going to find isn't going to be the median. Let's take a look. 32, 35, 30, 40. So go smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest. And right in the middle would have been halfway between 50 and 25. Now, I'm not going to make you do that math, but halfway between 50 and 25 is going to be 12 and a half. There's 25 difference here. Half of that would be 12 and a half. So 12 and a half more would have been 37.5. This is saying that the median is 37.5. However, I did that incorrectly. That was wrong because they were not in the correct order. Let's do it the correct way. I rewrote this entire data set, but I did it from smallest to biggest. Now I can find the accurate median. Here we go. Cross off smallest, cross off biggest. Smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest. And I'm left with a number somewhere in the middle. I'm left with that because this was once again an even amount of data. Now, my median is somewhere between 32 and 35. The total distance between 32 and 35 is 3. There is 3 numbers. There are 3 numbers between 32 and 35. So halfway between 32 and 35 is going to be half of that. Half of 3 is 1.5. I can take 32 and add 1.5, or 35 and subtract 1.5, 1.5 being half of 3. So directly in the middle, I would know that my answer is going to be 33.5. But let's see another way to do that. I know that my median, now I'm coming all the way right here, just finding some empty spot on my board. My numbers were 32 and 35, and I need to find directly what's in the middle of that. So 33, 34. Now I can find the median. Cross off smallest, cross off biggest. Cross off smallest, cross off biggest. And my median will be somewhere between 33 and 34. What's directly between 33 and 34? That is 33.5, which is what I found down here. 33.5. So the answer to number 1, very simple, 22. Cross off biggest, cross off smallest, because it's already in order from smallest to greatest. Number 2, we figured it out 2 ways. You solved it putting it in order from smallest to greatest, and we got it from the dot plot, and then we cross off smallest to biggest. However, it does not have an odd amount of data sets. It has an even amount of data sets. So we had to find the number between the median, which was 47 and 48, which becomes 47.5. We also solved it by crossing off dots. Smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest, until we found that there was a median right between 47 and 48. Once again, that is 47.5. And to wrap it all up, we did number 3. We did it incorrectly the first time using the data set from the table, put it in incorrect order, not from least to greatest. And we found that it was 37.5. That was wrong because that is not a good way to do it. Make sure you put them in order from smallest to greatest. After putting them in order from smallest to greatest, we took one away from each side until we got to the middle, and we discovered that our median was exactly halfway between 32 and 35. Now, you can either just do the math and say there are 3 in between, so half of that is going to be 1.5, and figure out what 1.5 is away from either number, or you can pull out and take your smallest number and your biggest number, the 2 median numbers we had here, 32 and 35, put them on either side and put the numbers in between. So 32, 33, 34, 35. Then do the whole median finding again smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest, and we found that it was directly between 33 and 34, it was 33.5. The exact same thing we got here from just doing math. That is it for today. The puzzle penguin is very simple. If you go ahead and take a look, his questions are actually pretty silly of him. And you could go ahead and rewatch his video and answer all those questions. I explained my reasoning and I made it very big to say it multiple points. So good luck, have some fun. I'm going to get back to my bike. Adios.